We are well, I was going to say you are looking live, but that's a Brent Musburger thing from, I think, ABC College Football. And he's no longer with ABC College Football. And it's been a while because, I don't know, he did like I mean, come on. He did a sexual impropriety thing. Super surprising, I know. I'm Nathaniel. I just heard my phone, I think, tell me that we're live. And okay, you're doing this one. And I was like, so oh, I was like, do I need to turn the volume up? Susan's over there. She's letting me know the volume sounds great. No, no, it is definitely blurred a lot of things out, but it's still brighter in the background than it normally is. So good, bad, in between, don't care. Welcome to a live stream. It's been a while, right? Over a month. Oh gosh, I think it's been a few months since. Well, okay, so we did some stuff with like college baseball, but none of y'all motherfuckers watch. Come on, I'm talking to a bunch of atheists. Y'all don't watch sports, and you call yourselves feminists. The two are connected, don't you know? I was thinking the other day, and this, and I called Susan. I was actually, where was I at, Susan? I think that oh yeah, I was down in Salem, right? I was thinking because I was talking to a person down in Salem, and it's just north of Salem, Oregon, by the way, not the Massachusetts. I buffered. Wow, I thought you were watching it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. And it shouldn't even be on Wi-Fi. It should be because we're not Wi-Fi. We are plugged right in. No, it doesn't. So I'm going to do that, and I want to turn the Wi-Fi off. Anyways, don't know why it said that, but I buffered. But I was down in Kaiser, which is just north of Salem here, and I was doing some work, and I was talking to a person down there. Hey, what's up? And this is a person who said, and I've mentioned him to Susan a couple of different times, that he doesn't want to come to Portland because he's scared. You know, Antifa and rioters, and we literally burned the city to the ground. In case you were unaware, we did that back in 2020. There is no longer a Portland. We burned it to the ground. Ask Fox News, they'll tell you. So he didn't want to come here because he's terrified. And also the homeless and things like that, because homeless to them aren't people. They are things to be eradicated, apparently, or things that need to be thrown into jails, because that will obviously help somebody to get a job. Now, and not speaking, of course, to the fact that there is mental illness. Only about 25% of those who are without a home actually have something like a drug addiction. But, anyways, and I was talking to him, and I started mentioning, and I mentioned this thing about uh, privilege. And because he said that he's a younger kid, you know, that he doesn't want to be in his job forever, and I get that. You know, I'm lucky to be in the position that I'm in, and I'm actually that's kind of the point of what I'm saying, because I said that, and then I went through this process of explaining to this person how lucky I am. How now, sure, have I worked my way into this position that I am lucky to have it? Yes. Did I explain to him why he might not want the job and why he may not be a good fit for it? Yes. And uh, he even said to me that no, he would not want to do it. Susan and I have had the conversation. She does not want my job. It is, it's, uh, uh, it's incredibly flexible. I have almost no oversight. My boss lives in California. I don't see anybody else for I see my boss once every quarter. for a day, and it's like a ride along. And so, and I go the entire Portland. Uh, oh, there you go. Hey, Susan. Oh, nice screen grab there, love. I know, right? And great. And they said hello. And it lacks structure. It requires a person to be very organized. And then something clicked in my mind, because one reason that this young person would not be able to get my job is because he doesn't have a car. A car is required for what I do. Now, this is important because if you don't know, or I'll give you this. Sometimes what you'll see on a like a requirement for a job, if you look online, you're searching for a job or you're just looking at things, it will say um, that you have to have a way to get back and forth to work. You know, they call it reliable transportation, like the bus or something like that. And then in a job interview, they may ask you, do you have reliable transportation? Do you have a way to get back and forth to work? And that's because they can't ask you if you have a car, because the way that it was, I just realized I had like some toothpaste in my beard, and you didn't tell me. Um, and that's because they could discriminate against you if you don't have a car. They could say, "Oh, you're going to be unreliable because you don't have a car," and they could discriminate against you. And so that was put in there that you can't ask a person, just like you can't ask a person if they're pregnant, right? These are things that you can't ask, because you can say, "Oh, the reason that we're not giving you this job is because you're pregnant or because you don't have a car." They can't ask you that, but getting around it. Well, for my job, a vehicle is required. The reason for that is because I travel around my entire territory, all the way from Longview, Washington, down to just north of Salem, Oregon, and all of Portland. I have to drive around. Even though I would love to take mass transit, it simply is not possible. It's not feasible. And here's the thing, it requires me to have a vehicle. It also requires me to have a driver's license. Something else they can't ask you in your job interviews unless you're going to be driving. Oh, it is beautiful. Let me tell you how many times I've seen these things, and like the mountains and everything. And then I got to thinking too, is because this young man, he started telling me like him getting a car on top of his rent and having to pay insurance and do all of these things. He said that he wouldn't have any money. He'd be negative. Well, I don't have that. I have a car, I have a license, I have insurance. Also, my job does pay for my cell phone. You know, yeah, my work. They don't pay for it. Yeah. They would have sent me an iPhone, and I said, good. And then I could have gotten an iPhone, a new number on a Verizon plan, and got an iPhone. I said, no, I'm not getting an iPhone. Thank you though. So I got a Pixel. Fucking hate. I still don't want an iPhone, but I hate that Pixel. And the fact that I was able to go and do that as well. And then I started like thinking to myself, first off, my job relies on privilege. It relies on my privilege. Now, maybe going, why? Well, the first requirement is that a person has to have a driver's license. Guess who has, like, as far as per capita, driver's license? White people, white men, more than anybody else. Guess who has a car? Even a car that may need some little tune up every now and again. White people, specifically white men. Insurance, all of that. Not only, not just all of that. but also my job requires me to know these things, which means I have to have had experience. The only way that I can get experience in this in the field that I'm in. Now, mind you, I don't really do. I don't want to call it sales. I do training and stuff like that, but would have had to do a history of learning these things and being in this type of environment. It's very easy for me to have done that. Did I work hard? I mean, it depends who you ask, I guess. Maybe. Did I work my way to this? Did I feel like I earned this? Yes. See, I'm not ashamed that I have my job. I don't. I believe that I'm very qualified for my job. I'm proud to work for a company that is that has been recognized nationally over and over and over and over again for having women in leadership positions. My boss is uh, my boss is a woman. The national director is a woman. Many of our regional directors are women. Uh, it is across the board. I am proud to work for a company that values diversity and values the fact, of course, that when it comes down to it, if we look at the people who are in some of those positions with those advanced degrees, women have more of those than men, or women more than men have that. But it relies on a form of discrimination if you think about it. It is not intentional necessarily, you can see that, but it relies on the fact that I have privilege. To think of it like that, to think of it in the way that it is important to do is to say how much. I just moved the camera on accident. How much easier was it for me to get this position just based on the fact that I could even apply for it? How many people who would maybe be better than me at this job, which wouldn't take much, by the way, um, simply can't do it or can't do it simply because of where they were born, their skin color, anything that gives me privilege. They're automatically excluded through no fault of their own. And so that's something that I keep in mind. And it was like an epiphany for me. I had to call Susan on the phone. I was like, "Hey, babe, I got to talk to you about this. Yeah, I've got to go through this." And it's really sobering when you think about it. That even something so innocuous as saying that, like say you can say I'm blessed to have this job. I don't really care. I don't believe in God, but it's a blessing, right? You whatever. I'm not lucky to have it, except I kind of am. So just something to think about. And to think about yours if you have a job or if you're being considered for positions and you're getting interviews. How if you look like me, especially how maybe our privilege comes into that more than a little bit. Just the fact that white dude. Hey Bree, welcome in. I love Bree so much. If you don't already, go and subscribe over there to Hive Science. I have changed the name of the channel, like rechanged the name of the channel, and I had to. Oh, Susan's over there saying I have, and I'm thinking that she's Tombstone. Thank you. Yes, the Tombstone Mustang. Thank you. Every single time that right there, every single time that I'm working on this and trying to get it right, I'm sitting there thinking like of everybody into even Kurt Russell. Even Kurt Russell, you libert. Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp.
totally.
Never
I'm
seen
crashing your
Tombstone. It's
stream.
one of like the best 5 films ever made. Coming with you. And hell is coming with me. Oh, come on. He went after the OK Corral. Fucking Val Kilmer.
So, I was listening to Skating Atheist earlier. And Eli and Heath give a thorough dressing down of Matt Powell and his bullshit. I figured we would appreciate that, and how Matt Powell also owes them like tons and tons of money.
Does he?
For copyright violation.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, because he basically just reposted Science Falsely So Called, their takedown of it from Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Anyway, sorry. I figured she'd appreciate that.
Where's my hat? Did I leave it in there? I don't know where my hat went. The one I was wearing today. The brown one.
Oh.
I don't know where it went. Yep. He did about. Bree asks, did you see the hit piece he did about my transition? I did not.
Watch the video because I'm not giving Matt Powell views, but yeah, Skating Atheist gave him a full dressing down for said video. Like it was, yeah.
No, I
Employee of the month, Matt Powell. It is gross and ridiculous.
If it is, I am loath to consume that. I do my best not to think about not just him, but people like him, and it's unfortunate the negative effect that he and those like him have on such amazing people. And
Matt Powell is desperate to try and be relevant.
Yeah.
And he is not succeeding because he just looks like a fucking douchebag. Because he is.
So there you go.
Sorry if that was the first curse word in the stream.
I think it was. I'm getting to one here in a second though. But I'm sorry about that, Bree. You know what? That's how you know you're doing good work right there. When bigots come at you like that, that's how you know you're doing good work.
Yeah.
So keep it up, stay strong. You know, I'm always both I and Susan are always here for you. Now, speaking of Tombstone, I heard a historian say Tombstone is probably the most accurate historical recount of that story that's been told, and no wonder it's so good. It certainly has its moments. Yes, the OK Corral is a bit sensationalized. The way that they went about like having the red sash, stuff like that, that's, you know, but overall, quite good. Quiet good, if you will. So there you go. All right. Auto track head movement. Yes, it does. I have not activated the thing yet, but I have, because I'm part of the like NVIDIA developer teams. That I get the software in advance, and there's some software that I tried out a little while back that also it keeps your eyes front facing. Pretty cool. It's my own camera person. There it goes. If I look to the side, it keeps my eyes looking forward. So yeah, it's interesting. One side of my mustache keeps going down, and it's annoying me.
One side of your mustache is in 2 separate pieces.
Damn it! Again? Damn it!
Oh,
it is. It is. Yeah. So there you go. And okay. So speaking of fucks, Beto O'Rourke has been out of them for a long time. I was reading CNN earlier because I hate myself, and
He does.
you need a tiny. Actually, I have something for it, and I don't know what I did with
The
it.
tiny cup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and um, it said Beto. But actually, let me just go to CNN real quick and take a look see because I know it's still there. There is something that amazing that I'm going to talk about. By the way, I don't really want to talk about 45. I feel like he's getting enough pub the way it is. Let me just go to CNN real quick here. CNN.com, as it were. Audio still good? Yeah, love.
I don't know.
No.
I don't have my headphones.
There's the man. Bam. There it is. That's actually what I'm talking about. Let me see where to go. Where to go. Where to go. Oh, Elaine Chao is meeting with the January 6th committee. Elaine Chao, famous for being the wife of Mitch McConnell.
Really?
Yep, met with January 6th committee. Yeah, and of
What else
course
does she do?
she's on the board of Kroger,
Yeah.
anti-union Kroger. And I have to find this because the way that CNN positions this, the way that CNN has this framed in the headline is disingenuous. And I got mad. And I hope that I can find it because it's annoying. And they don't have it on the front anymore. Damn it. But it says Beto O'Rourke curses at heckler during gun control, uh, you know, gun control like speech or something like that. And that's inaccurate. Did Beto O'Rourke cuss at a heckler? Yes, he did. In fact, he did in fact to do that. Beto O'Rourke, though, or as I like to call him, my former boss. Beto O'Rourke was in Mineral Wells yesterday. That's up by Dallas, yeah. And he was talking about because if you don't know, Beto has been a proponent of banning the AR-15, which of course also 63% of Americans agree. 67, so in the 60s. Yep. And it wasn't a debate, and he wasn't heckled because he was talking about the guns. Now, I've actually Susan has the one of the shirts that says, it says a bunch. This is fucked up because that's what he said. Because if you remember back in 2020 or 2019, the mass shooter drove from Dallas down to El Paso with a gun that he had purchased legally and slaughtered people, specifically targeting Hispanic Americans at a Walmart. And Beto came out and said this is fucked up. And then also when the media was talking to him about it, because he went back home and this is again back in 2019, and this is where I'm very proud to say that I not only do I support Beto, but I have had the privilege of working for him. Is where the media was trying to ask him, how he responds to things, and if the former president at that point, the 45, and he stops me. He's like, members of the media, what the fuck? Like, the answer to the questions you're asking. It absolutely, because the person had a manifesto. The manifesto called and it said names that had inspired him, saying members of the media or members of the press, whatever, what the fuck? makes sense. Back in 2018, we lost, by the way, in case you don't know. Ted Cruz is a senator of this country, which actually kind of makes sense right now. It does. And lost by 2 points. In 2018, lost by 2 points. It's 2022 now. Things, I don't know if you guys know this, but the world has changed a little bit. And said to a crowd of far more than those who attended Ted Cruz's celebration, spoke for like 12 minutes. And this was down in Austin, and I was up in Dallas. And he said, I fucking love you guys. Remember that?
Yeah.
Just, this is a person who, they talk about, it speaks our language, doesn't speak like a politician, right? Beto's been saying for years and years, and I know this because I can just about recite the things that he can say, not in Spanish like him, but and can say that the largest provider of healthcare and mental health care in the state of Texas is the prisons. It's the jail cells in every single county. That's who provides the healthcare. That's who provides the mental health care. He's been saying that for years, been saying it and yelling it and screaming it, and now people are finally catching on. Beto, I bet you, feels like me sometimes, which, by the way, it is tough being me, Beto. I don't think you'd understand. But how I constantly say things way in advance. Susan can tell you this too. I say things months in advance, and then people will like start saying it later. Like Cult 45. I am certain that I invented that. Right? And he speaks like a normal person. So yesterday he's in Mineral Wells. Oh, and by the way, he said, let's be Beto for president. He did run for president. I actually have, because he somebody asked him on the debate stage, and he is not one to try to speak politically. He said, hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, which I don't know, made me love the guy more than I already did.
Yep. We both have
Yeah.
from his presidential campaign.
Yeah. She has the "This is fucked up" shirt. I have the "Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15." And I also have the bumper sticker, which I still have on the vehicle. And it has a picture of an AR-15, and it says Beto has a ban for that. Oh, no, I know. I know. Yep. Yeah. And so yesterday, because these things hit home to him, what happened in Uvalde hits home to him. Because I truly believe that he cares. I also believe that Joe Biden cares, but there's a difference here. And he's speaking about it yesterday. He did the thing that Democrats need to do, and he straight up walked into current Texas Governor Greg Abbott's little press conference and straight up told him to his face, and has said it nearly every day since then. And in his 80 town halls has said it over and over and over again. Now, I would, of course, expect Greg Abbott to do much the same if he would have one. It looks like when you look at the amount of town halls that Beto O'Rourke has had versus Greg Abbott, it looks like the score of a 1995 Nebraska football game. It's 80-0. But so when he was speaking yesterday about children being murdered in Uvalde, somebody laughed at him. Thought it was funny. And Beto O'Rourke said the thing that we all think. And he did it without a pause. because he pointed at him and he said, "You might think it's funny, motherfucker, but I don't." You might not like the fact that he's against the AR-15. Kind of weird of you to be like that, but that's a person who cares. Tell me you don't want a politician in office and then tell me that you don't like Beto O'Rourke. I don't care how you feel about his stance on guns. But tell me that you don't have to like everything the person stands for. But tell me that that person sounds different than us. He talks to everybody. Goes to all 254 counties in Texas. Majority of those will not vote for him.
He's done 85 town halls at this point.
Yesterday, I thought it was 80.
Oh, I thought it was 80 a few days ago.
No, maybe. What I know is that it's above that, and Greg Abbott still has done none.
Yep.
And then also, don't go clutching your fucking pearls there, conservatives, and also you moderate Democrats. You don't get to go, oh, you can't, go off and like grab him by the pussy and be okay with that. And then be like, oh no, he's saying that around children, as if you're not saying fuck Joe Biden every 14 seconds. I'm sorry that you're too PC to say it. You're too PC to say fuck Joe Biden, so you have to say let's go Brandon, because you're being, the woke mob, the woke conservative mob controls you, and so you have to say let's go Brandon, because otherwise you're going to get like canceled because you say fuck Joe Biden. Now, mind you, with that being said, hi there, Joe Biden, fuck you. Just like in general, do a better job. Also, thanks for some of the stuff. Like, some of it. Do better. And as is mentioned, maybe you don't like to hear the word fuck. Cool. I don't like kids being murdered in school or like at all. Kind of seems like one of those is a bit more important than the other one. I don't know. It's just me, though. That's just me. Dating me, so I don't know how okay you are. Now, love you. So don't let anybody clutch pearls or frame this as anything other than it was. Because if they do, just go ahead and get, and you know what? Watch the clip. Read the transcript, as it were. Now, oh, by the way, the Second Amendment's a fucking relic. It was only meant because they didn't have a standing army until 1798. There you go. The Second Amendment was necessary for all of 9 years. FYI. You don't believe me? Go look it up. I've read Federalist 29. I don't think anybody else has, is the thing. But around to fuck your feelings. Oh man, it's interesting that a bunch of snowflakes, fragile ass snow, and I know they're fragile snowflakes, by the way, because they block me all the time.
They do.
Just because, you know why? Because I ask them questions. And I'm very good at staying, I'm like an X-Wing commander because I stay on target.
Orcans cover me.
Right? Because I don't get sidetracked. Because I drill and I drill and I drill, baby fucking drill. And they block me. Because they know they don't have an answer. I tweeted out earlier today as well, and I said, if you ask somebody if they can denounce MAGA, or if they can say that they're not a fan of insurrection, and their immediate answer is not, nope, the insurrection bad. Also not MAGA. If their answer is anything other than that, guess what? That's them. They're either a supporter of insurrection or they are one. An insurrectionist. They are an insurrection.
They're an entire insurrection.
That's them, themselves. They're surrecting inside of themselves. That's them. I make no distinction. If you are still MAGA, guess what? You support insurrection, specifically the one on January 6th. Or you were there and you may have died there or died recently because that's who you are, because you tried to go kill the FBI today with a nail gun, by the way. Look, I played 7 Days to Die. Nail guns do not kill zombies. All right, I had to shoot like 40 of them, 40 nails at a zombie. And I had a person who a little fragile snowflake, who said, because they didn't understand the phrase that facts have a liberal bias, that truth has a liberal bias, and they hated that. And I said, I'm sorry you hate a phrase. I'm sorry that you're such a fragile snowflake that a phrase triggers you. But if they do not denounce MAGA, and if they don't denounce the insurrection, that's them. That's who that is. And I've said for a long time, and I was mentioning this to Susan earlier. I said to Susan, remember back in January, and even leading up to that, when Democrats were just laying eggs, right?
Because they were chicken?
Yeah.
Or because they were doing a bunch of nothing?
Bunch of nothing.
Or both?
All of it. When they were just fucking up everything. Not just Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, who, by the way, I told you guys like 2 years ago were further right than Lindsey Graham, and none of you listened to me. And now you see it. You should listen to me in advance. Again, another example of this. I am right about things. I said it. I even posted a graph. I think I have that tweet pinned or something somewhere. And I was terrified of what was coming in 2022, what was coming in November. I absolutely, and I wasn't quiet about it either. I was pissed the fuck off. I would like, oh yeah, look, the former president, another thing he did. Congratulations. Yeah, we already fucking know. Let me know when you actually do something about it, you know? Just like resigned at that point to just accept the fact that nothing is ever gonna fucking happen to any of those pieces of shit, right? Resigned to that fact. Yeah, congratulations. It's like, remember that time that he did an election like fraud in Georgia where he tried to get an entire fucking state, the entire government to commit massive election fraud, and he told them that if they didn't, that he could probably have them prosecuted. Remember that time? And that we just kind of like forgot about that. And that's what I was in January. I'm still kind of that right now. Gonna be honest with you, we're still not doing anything about that one. And we have him recorded on a phone call for over an hour doing that. I don't know what else you need. Like maybe I'm just not good at the court system thing, but it seems like if we have you recorded saying that you are pressuring a state to do an election fraud, like a state, and you tell them exactly how many votes you need, not even to be, you know, a roundabout number or vague about it or anything, but just to say we need 11,000 whatever exact number votes, and then it says which is one more than we have, which is just dumb because no, that's not true. Anyways, it would trigger a recount. I'm gonna be honest with you. If you were within one vote, you get a recount, and then you lose by 10,000 again. Congratulations. But I don't know what else we need. And in January, I was like doubting the future of the Republic. And by that, I mean, I feel like the Emperor is not a good person. Like, kind of feel like he's sitting there in his little chair, with a little hood pulled up and everything.
Laughing maniacally.
Yeah, maniacal laugh.
I do get the inkling that Palpatine has ulterior motives.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is
you know, it's
And yeah, I know the mama bears, by the way. They follow me on Twitter. They do. Susan, they all do. All of them do. I don't know why. Um, and Republicans were lining up, and I'm gonna get to Georgia here in a little bit. So if you're here for Georgia, by the way, lots of peaches, slow talking, and as I understand, peaches for me. Um, because it's what happened in Georgia is you think some shit's happened recently. If you haven't heard about this, it's fucking nuts, and you stay here for a few more minutes if you're not already. And um, I looked at this, and so Republicans were positioned just because Democrats weren't doing anything. And so you have apathetic voters, and then you have this MAGA base that is completely fucking fired up and everything. And it was like about in about May or so, Republicans saw what was happening, realized that they had every advantage, that they were going to just to do numbers, probably definitely take the House, likely take the Senate. It's like they looked around at everything, saw how amazing it was, and then said, "Hey guys, what would the Democrats do in this situation?" And then just followed the fucking playbook. Because since it's got to be like mid-May, Republicans have just fallen the fuck apart for the first time since I personally can remember. And I remember when Newt Gingrich like took over everything. Remember that? That was like the real beginning of the fucking end. Look, Ronald Reagan, I love you and everything, right? Thanks, Nathaniel. Yeah, you're welcome. Shut the fuck up. Go away, you fascist prick. Um, what? That was a good Ronald Reagan.
That was. I don't think I've heard you do that good of a Ronald Reagan before.
Oh.
Ew.
I can. Turns out I can do like almost all the presidents.
Including the ones we've never heard speak.
Yeah.
They all sound like Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, they do. And now, mind you, for Republicans, 2022 was not a good year to have a mass shooting at a school. Now, TBF, it's never a good year to have a mass shooting or a school shooting.
That's correct.
So, point that out. But they also have nothing. They have no response. And then in June, SCOTUS did the thing that Republicans and conservatives have wanted, which is hilarious, for like 40, almost 50 fucking years. And oh, the Georgia thing's gonna be fun. And have they have wanted. This was actually the Reagan thing. Oh, another mention of now. See, now it fucked up. See, I had
sorry,
one
that's
good good Reagan.
That's on me.
I only get one. There it was again. All right. That Reagan actually was part of this because he was the one that gave evangelicals power back in 1980. He was like, "Oh, I've been Mr. Gorbachev. I've been endorsed by the evangelicals." And oh, TBF. No, yeah, I said to be fair. To be fair. And evangelicals, not evangelicals. So there are two different parts of evangelicals. Okay, there are. The ones that you're thinking about are fundamentalists. The fundamentalists have wanted this thing for since Roe v. Wade. Was it 73? 74? 73. They've wanted it to be overturned. They got their wish in June, which, let's be honest, kind of sucks. Like, like,
Yeah. Needless to say.
like I have a point to this, and I just like said it out loud again, and saying that Roe v. Wade was overturned. Uh, yeah.
I have thoughts on that are tangential to that.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean it's related to Roe v. Wade, but not directly to your point. So.
Okay. We'll see. We can't get to that. So, the thing is that Republicans wanted it, but they didn't. You see, because upwards of like 95% of Americans, let's just call them people, are either strongly in favor or at least moderately in favor of having access to abortion. And there is no actual response to this. There is no response where they can control a narrative. Something that Republicans have always done is control a narrative. There is no narrative to control from this. What are you, the way that they have tried to spin this thing? There's the spin like, well, if you don't like it there, you can just move to a different state, as if that is possible for millions of people. But not only that, if you don't like, you can move to another state. Does not work out for the conservatives. Trust me, I've been working on something, not as much as I should be, where there's a video where if you actually were to do that and reapportion congressional like numbers and shit, it would not work out for conservative states. Just letting you know. You think they're mad they don't have a president now? Holy shit, they might never have one again. Which should have been the case every time except for 2004. But regardless, there is no response to this that they can go on the offensive. Besides the fact that they are offensive, they have nothing. They have nothing to respond to with January 6th committee. They have nothing to respond to when it comes to Uvalde and the cops doing cop things. Being, I don't know, bad. Seems like we've been talking about that a little bit. Cops being bad, and all of them, or something. And they have no response to the former president being, I don't know, kind of held accountable for doing bad things, illegal things. Oh yeah, 420 atheist. There's a video that Susan and I have been talking about, and I've already done a lot of the math on it. And trust me, you don't want to do this math. You also don't want to look at my spreadsheet for this. It is garbage. And Susan's gonna have to figure. She said she'd figure it out, but
I'm oddly excited to get my hands on it.
it's you ever seen like the thing, right? It's connected. It's connected over here, and then it's connected. The way that it goes down and up and everything, it's nuts. And yeah, and they have no response at all. They have no response. They have no response right now to the fact that, guess what? Joe Biden is doing like the whole thing with more jobs again. They have no response to that. Oh, inflation, which has been flat month over month. Is it too high? Sure. When did gas prices begin to go up? In March? Wonder what that coincided with. No matter what they tried to say, they have no response. They're on the back foot. They're on the defensive. What I said earlier this year was I said we need people that are Democrats to come in, because I kept saying over and over and over again. I had people stop following me on Twitter because I said, look, you need Democrats to give me a reason to vote for you. You need to get me excited to come and vote for you. You have to do it. Because Democrats, you're fucking up right now. You were given everything. You're fucking up. You're fucking up. You're fucking up right now. And guess what? Republicans, when they decided to say, what would the Democrats do? Democrats finally decided to say, holy shit. You mean we have a Beto, and we have a Stacey Abrams, and we've got a Fetterman who's got some issues of his own, and we've got Elizabeth Warren, and we've got all these other people, what's her name, from SoCal, and all these other people who are kind of exciting. Holy shit, maybe we should be more like them. And guess what? I want to talk about Kansas. Remember what I said, right? Kansas. Yep. Whenever the GOP in Kansas tried to trick the women of Kansas, y'all motherfucker, you really underestimate the women, which, yes, you've always done that. And you definitely underestimated black women. But you really underestimated women in Kansas when you said, oh, there's protection of choice. They can tell when the GOP sends them a text message, you fucking idiots. But additionally, Kansas has been a bastion of reproductive justice in the Midwest. What's the name of the doctor who was murdered there?
George Tiller.
Yep, George Tiller was murdered there. If you don't know who that is, feel free to go look it up. It's going to make you mad.
You know where?
No.
In his church.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
In his fucking church. Don't sit there and talk to me about how fucking terrible abortion providers are when they're exactly like everybody else. They provide services to their patients. They do a job for a living. They go to church. They have fucking families. They George Tiller was one of the only third trimester abortion providers in the country. There's very few now. I don't know how many there are now. I'm very sorry to go off on this tangent.
No, it's fine. There's plenty in Oregon.
The fact that somebody felt that they had the right to murder Dr. Tiller in cold blood because he performed abortions that were medically necessary. A woman does not get to the third trimester and just say, oh, gee, I'm just going to change my mind about, if I want to actually birth this fetus that is growing inside of me. That's not something that happens. And if it happens, it's an infinitesimal amount.
No, it's a tiny amount. Yeah, we live in Oregon, which in Oregon, built into and codified, or they say codified and codified. Look, I don't really care. Codified into our state's constitution, yes. Abortion, just like in Kansas. I'm going to get back to that. Yes. But in Oregon, guess what? Guess what the restriction is on abortion? There's not one. No. So whenever anybody tells you that there's laws in every state that keep it to like 26 weeks, that's wrong. No. In Oregon, you can come here and you can have an abortion up to the right before birth.
Well, and the thing is
people
that
don't.
A good majority of the time, when a pregnant person is far enough along that that they find out that the fetus is incompatible with life or it is a danger to the health of the pregnant person, a good majority of the time they actually make the pregnant person go through labor.
Yep.
Or go through a DNC.
Yep.
And in all technicality, giving birth is a termination of pregnancy.
That it is. Now, in Kansas, the GOP decided to say,
it was such a tangent.
No, it works out. No, you think I'm ever going to stop you from talking about reproductive justice? I met you when you worked at Planned Parenthood.
That's true. And I think I'm doing the supermajority too. They're not strictly reproductive justice. They're like marginalized communities getting involved in politics. So
there you go.
Cool.
Yeah. By the way, if I ever if I ever start getting distorted on the microphone, please let me know. I keep looking at it, but I can't hear it. So now, in Kansas, if you want to think that Republicans aren't fucking terrified, Kansas, they tried to lie and misrepresent and everything. And this was last week. This was in an August. It was it wasn't even an election. There aren't any elections in August, and this wasn't a primary. They thought, oh, people aren't going to come out and vote. Right. More people, double the amount of people voted in Kansas last week than did in the primaries 2 years ago.
Can you highlight Brigwin's comment really quick, please? Because that's fucking hilarious.
Wow. And okay, thank you. And Kansas, specifically Kansas women, said, fuck you. And they won by 20 some odd points. By 20 some odd points, they said, this is in our Constitution. And it's going to fucking stay here. And when something like that happens, now sometimes you get something where it's like 1 or 2 points or something like that, like Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania and North Carolina back in 2016. Jesus Christ. And you say, oh yeah, it's kind of close. Mm-mm. 20 points is a referendum. You had Democrats not just on the ropes, you had them on the fucking ground. You were Republicans, you were standing over them like Ali over Frazier, right?
I know. I understand that reference.
Straight up. You got that reference there, Steve? And did you get that reference?
Yes, I did.
All right. And you're standing over them, except for the problem is you're doing that you forgot how to do MMA or something, but you knocked yourselves down.
And it's not Chumbawamba.
Yeah, and you have failed to get back up again. And every single thing that Republicans have done has been not just a misstep, but stepping on fucking landmines, blowing up everything. They have no response to anything. There's no culture war nonsense, no grooming nonsense, no cancel culture, no critical race theory, none of that shit. There is none of this made up bullshit. The border bullshit doesn't work anymore. The socialist bullshit doesn't work anymore because guess what? You told children yet again, you're not, I don't really fucking care that you're not safe in schools. You told anybody with a uterus across the country that they don't have rights. That includes your base. And by the way, working for Beto O'Rourke back in 2018, I knocked on enough doors that I'm pretty certain when I asked for the name of the of which I would assume is the woman in the relationship, that the husband or man answered the door and was very surprised that somebody from Beto was at his house looking to talk just to the person that he was probably convinced was a Republican. I'm pretty certain I caused divorces. Not lying. Also, not upset about that. Fuck you, MAGA. $20 points. Now, another way they fucked up. Now, by the way, all you guys out there that are clutching pearls about Democrats meddling in Republican primaries, get fucked. You ever heard of an open primary? You know what? Texas has open primaries, right?
Yeah.
You know what you do in an open primary? It happens all the fucking time. You know what you do? If you don't know, we're in Oregon. We have closed primaries. I'm an independent. I'm not registered anywhere. So guess who I got to vote for? County commissioner. Oh man.
You to vote in the city election?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing that was anything that was nonpartisan. I got to vote for like the. Yeah. In an open primary, even if you're registered, like registered Republicans, this happens in Texas all the time. Yeah. What registered Republicans will do is they'll go and they'll vote in the Democrat primaries. Yeah. And they'll vote for the candidate who they see is the weaker candidate, thus doing their best to ensure that they either retain the incumbency or that they gain the seat in the general election. Happens all the time. I don't fucking care if Democrats meddled in a Republican primary to get the weaker candidate. Guess what? If there's an opportunity for me to do something that is legal and that Republicans have been doing since, like, I don't know, the dawn of Republican time, then I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. And guess what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to fucking stump for that person. I'll be like, yes, vote for extremist man. He's the better candidate, or she's the better candidate. Look at all these things. Yes. You want to be like MAGA? Go vote for them. Look at how horrible this person was. Did you know that this person voted one time out of 3,000 against 45? Can you believe that? All hail Trump, right? Not them. They one time they voted against him. Can you believe that? All day. I'd do that shit. So don't be clutching your fucking pearls. Nah, take the offensive. Republicans are not on the offensive. Democrats are taking the offensive. Let me explain how they're going to continue to do it. Think of the primaries. Because there've been a lot of Wisconsin the other day, right? Arizona, yeah, Missouri, uh, Vermont, by the way. That one matters, I guess. Actually, the Vermont one does matter because Leahy is retiring, and there is a chance to get another real progressive in there. There's 2 progressives in Vermont that won their primaries. Guess what? Across the nation, and this is where like you get the media that's fucking up in arms over this, and I'm just like, yes, it's the best thing ever. And you're not gonna believe me when I say it, but think about it for a while, and you get it. They're freaking the fuck out because MAGA is winning Republican primaries across the country. In Arizona, right? In Arizona, the gubernatorial is a MAGA, right? The Secretary of State is a MAGA. The GOP candidates, right? The one that primaries, MAGA. The Senate candidate, all of them are all MAGA. They're all MAGA that deny reality of the 2020 election. All right. You look over in Georgia. Look at Herschel Walker, right? You look in like Fincham and stuff like that up in Michigan, right? Michigan, where you had a bunch of these election denying fucks. I call them insurrectionists. Feel free, use whatever phrase you'd like. Insurrection fucks, and they keep yeah, they don't send out pamphlets of ballots in Texas. Yeah, Oregon. In Oregon we like to have people. I saw the glitch. Yep. And it says the Wi-Fi again. That's weird because I'm plugged directly in, but it's fine. I can see myself again. In and what you heard about, by the way, is because and you got Mehmet Oz up there in Pennsylvania, right? And all these people, yeah. And here's Susan. Check this out. I like it. I like it a lot. Oh yeah.
No, that's not why I'm looking at you like that.
Oh, I fucking love it. Let me explain. Let me explain. Susan's over there. Susan, look, Susan. This is a fucking family experience right here. Okay.
Is it?
No. Mm-hmm. So let me go over why I am so excited that MAGA is winning all the primaries. Because they've been in the news. You know who hasn't been in the news? Just off the top of my head. Who's Gabby Gifford's husband that's a senator from Arizona? Mark Kelly, not in the news.
I get a lot of text messages for him.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Katie Hobbs, who some of you probably don't even know who that is because she's not in the news. She's the current Arizona Secretary of State, who is the Democrat gubernatorial candidate. Oh, you know who, Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock is. How many superlatives you need? Raphael Warnock, not in the news. Gretchen Whitmer, not in the news. No, the governor of Michigan. But you know who's been in the news? All these fucking MAGA election denying insurrectionist fucks. Every single one of them. News all over the place. Just everywhere. And controversy after fucking controversy after controversy. And yeah, it's really, really nice when you play to a base of people and you say out loud that you're going to ban abortion, you're going to make sure that it's banned in your state. Right? And that you're going to make sure that you're going to do your best to decertify an election that happened 2 years ago. And that you're going to subpoena Merrick Garland. And all of this stuff. Good. Keep saying it. Keep saying it. Please do, in fact. Because you're going to get fucking thumped in November by a Democrat or even an independent candidate who's just sitting back, staying out of the news, talking to supporters, raising 29, 30, 40 million dollars, and just saying, you know what? You keep saying what you're saying. Keep it up. It's the best thing. The best thing for Democrats is, first off, to just let Republicans continue doing what they're doing. Let it happen. It is the best thing. They are constantly cutting their legs out from underneath themselves. Every single step is a landmine, and they're stepping directly on them. They know it's there, but they have no response. They're on the defense. Again, for the first time since like I've been alive that I can remember, they're on the defense. They have no responses. Their responses, by the way, that they try to use, the way that they're, think about the past few days, the way that they've tried to spin this thing about, 45 actually getting fucking FBI raided, which is that they are actually now, they know that it is so far gone and that they have so much that they have no response, that they are literally, they know that the only people that they can reach out to if they're on Fox News, the only people are the QAnons. Yeah, I know. It wasn't a raid. I know. They went and they knocked on his door. They didn't kick in the door, but the only people they can actually reach out to are QAnon. That's it. Yeah, I know Matt Gaetz too. But that's it. When they say things, by the way, say things that are so dangerous that they actually prompt a person to do like what that person did today, you know that's who they're talking to. But when they say, oh, the FBI probably planted that, you know they're not talking to regular conservatives. But you know what they are doing? They are turning off the conservatives. They are alienating conservatives. The conservatives are like, wait, what? The FBI did defund the FBI. I thought you guys were against defunding the police.
I thought you said back the blue.
Yeah, I thought you were fans of the FBI.
Yeah. Back the blue until they come after us.
Yeah, or oh, you keep on bringing up the emails thing. I thought you were in favor of the email, like, going after the fact that there are apparently like zero conservatives that have any idea what the bleach software is fucking hilarious. Also the fact that Charlie Kirk doesn't know that it's attorneys general is also.
He doesn't?
No, he kept saying attorney generals. Yep. Yeah, I commented on that today, and I was like, the funniest thing about this is he doesn't know that it's attorneys general. What are all these attorney generals doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know any attorneys that are generals. I'm certain there's a JAG somewhere. But that is who their misstep now. And even Rand Paul or whatever is saying that Rand Paul and everybody else, like the Republicans in the Senate, are like, shut the fuck up. Because they see it. They know. They're like, shut the fuck up, Rand Paul. Shut up. What the fuck are you doing, Rand Paul? And Chuck Schumer's just like, I haven't done everything right, but this, you know what? Just going to let this one play out. Let this one ride. And the Republicans, just like with Roe v. Wade, just like with Roe, Republicans have no response. So they try and deflect. What about Hillary? All right, cool. Yeah, Hillary fucked up. Yep. In fact, I believe that the FBI actually investigated her. And I believe the FBI actually went and they turned over documents to the FBI. Okay, cool. You know what? Fine. Hillary maybe should have faced some sort of charges. Awesome. There you go. Bill Clinton, rapist. Right? W, war criminal. All of that.
Very.
Obama, fucking sexy. All of these things. These things are all objective reality. Put them all in jail. Obama gets to come to my jail in my house. I didn't ask Susan before I said that. Bring Malia with you. Michelle can come. She want to, just let her know. She's like,
or Sasha's just getting left out, isn't she?
Hey, Michelle. I hear Portland's nice these days. They're rebuilding from fire. So, and take it and say, yes, you're right. Absolutely right. All of those things. Fucking yes. Guess what? It doesn't change the fact that 45 did a crimes. Whataboutisms don't work. Like, and they don't work. Because no matter what you do, even if you think there's hypocrisy, your guy is still an insurrectionist, treasonist piece of garbage who apparently had information about nuclear stuff. Hey, Abby, it is good to see you. But so none of that stuff matter. That's the thing. They know they have nothing, so they're on the defense. Act like they are the Dallas Cowboys pass defense last year and fucking just slaughter them. Not like with a gun, though, because that's what Republicans don't care about. But do it like, metaphorically. Take their guns. Reality. And so the balance shifts. I don't know if that's true, and I'm not going to, but I do know that he definitely pressured an entire state to commit massive election fraud. Speaking of an entire state, and speaking of that state, in fact, Georgia, I sound just like them. Mm-hmm.
Honey.
Yeah.
I love you.
Oh.
With all my heart.
I told you this was gonna be a fun. I told you this was gonna be a fun live stream.
Heart, mind, body, and soul.
Her body for sure. Yeah.
There's one of us that can say.
Oh, I'm not that one. Love you. Yeah, I know I can't sing. So, speaking of Georgia, if you didn't think, if you said 4 years ago that Susan and I and others would have the same conversations, we're being hyperbolic with the shit that Georgia is doing, with the abortion thing and with everything. You said we're being hyperbolic. Well, I'm just going to read this from the fake New York Times, or the fake news New York Times. It is, yes, okay. I'm sorry. I was going to be like, is it the failing New York Times or fake news? Whichever one's the Washington Post. Whichever one Jeff Bezos doesn't own. Does he not own one? Does he own this one too? I'm confused. So this is, by the way, this was last week. I planned on talking about this beforehand, but here I am. This was last week. Georgia's abortion ban counts a fetus as a person, and now so does its tax code. Let me repeat and explain this in case you have not heard this. I just about woke Susan up the night that I read this.
You did.
Went in there and I was like, babe, wake the fuck up. And she was like, oh my God, we're done. No, babe, it's fine. She's like, oh, are you sure? That's not how that went at all.
That is not how that went.
Let me read it again, and then I'm going to explain what it means. Sweet. Oh, sweet. The fact that you know us so much. That Georgia's abortion ban counts a fetus as a person, and now so does its tax code. The state's Department of Revenue announced this week that, quote, any unborn child, if you're listening to this later on and you're not watching me, first off, I feel like the reason I can see why you would. There was a long pause where I looked at the screen and went, really? With a detectable human heartbeat can be claimed as a dependent, providing a $3,000 tax exemption for each pregnancy within a household months before birth. Of course, Georgia does have a ban on abortions after 6 weeks because, as we know, people become citizens at 6 weeks. As the announcement marks a new frontier, yada, yada, yada. It's called the Living Infants Fairness and Equality, or Life Act. Look, there's only two good things that are life: the one I'm living and the cereal. Okay? The Life Act. It prohibits abortion after 6 weeks and explicitly recognizes the fetus as a person. July 20th, Chief Judge William H. Pryor wrote, quote, a person of reasonable intelligence is capable of understanding that the core meaning of the provision is to expand the definition of person to include unborn humans who are carried in the womb of their mother at any stage of development. Oh, yes. Georgia is a state that this is from Governor Brian. I mean, soon to be former Governor Brian Kemp, who shouldn't have been governor to begin with, was attorney general of the state, I believe, and oversaw the 2018 gubernatorial election that he won, even though that he probably shouldn't have been involved in it because he was also a candidate looking into the possible improprieties in his election. Weird, I know. Again, crimes. He said Georgia is a state that values and supports life at all stages. That's what he sounds like. It's exactly what he sounds like. And Georgia's Life Act and its provision both reflect that commitment. So what happens is on your taxes, if you're pregnant, you file and say, I'm pregnant, and you provide, the medical documentation, which is like super difficult to get, right? And you say, yeah, okay, cool. And I've got twins. There you go, $6,000 for my tax return. That's what you get. And yes, child support does begin immediately, meaning that the person who inseminated you has to pay child support. Now, of course, as was mentioned, and I saw it in the chat as well with IVF and all of that stuff, I don't fucking know. And I don't think they do either. Nope. Because if you read the Life Act, it doesn't mention that, and it doesn't mention very much at all. Now, of course, it also, like, if you don't know who the father is, not because of, in vitro, but just because you don't happen to know who the father is, because, either multiple partners or something, I don't know. Or, I don't know, maybe. Or you've had a traumatic experience in which you were against your will. And you get to claim, because you're pregnant, $3,000. If this sounds fucking nuts, that's because it is. Also, to all of you who said we're being hyperbolic when we were talking about how the fuck would this work, well, and by the way, Maya, one of those questions. I have frozen embryos. I can claim multiple children every year indefinitely. Exactly. Now, of course, one Democratic gubernatorial candidate, and as I like to call her, the future Georgia governor, Stacey Abrams, her campaign manager is Lauren Growargo, And she says, so what happens when you claim your fetus as a dependent and then miscarry later in the pregnancy? You get investigated both for tax fraud and illegal abortion, or as I like to call it, murder. Because if it is a person, if it's a person, then you have murdered your person. They call it a child. You've murdered your child. Now, here is something about this, is that it also affects population. I mean, it has to affect population. And it's also written into the Life Act.
Oh, Georgia, you gotta say laugh at.
The Laugh Act. That it is written in there with population. Now, the IRS has said, yo, this is a Georgia thing. We are not involved. This doesn't change a goddamn thing, except, hi, federal government, even though you like to eschew responsibility on everything until you want my money from me and go fuck yourself. Also, if you need more taxes for healthcare, I'm happy to give them. Have you ever heard of congressional representation? Have you? Because I have. It's called the 3/5 compromise. Right? And 3/5 of all persons, not what is it? Excluding Indians, non-taxed. Right? Just heard the Obama is sexy. Well, you're 10 minutes behind. And that now that means that if it affects population, the fact that in Georgia, because this is a citizen, right? Because if now, if you're on American soil, and Susan made this point as well, if you're on American soil and you have a child, that child is a citizen. That means that anybody that says, hey, I have this person because I can claim this person on my taxes, cool, that's another citizen. And as Swede mentions in the chat, the census is now obsolete. So let's talk about this for just a moment then. The federal government this. Except maybe you do, because how does that work with the census? How does it work again with congressional apportionment? Now, of course, my response to this is that I hope it goes to SCOTUS because I think it'd be really funny. Now, and even though Susan actually is a bit more apprehensive than I am, no, it'd be fucking hilarious to me. Because if nothing else, there'd be a lot of math involved, and all of the fucking Supreme Court justices outside of, I don't know, who'd be the one that would want to do math? Yeah, Sotomayor would want to do math, right? I can see that.
I get the calculus nerd vibe.
Yeah, right. Would be sitting there and they'd be like, yo, this is way too fucking difficult. This is like Thomas Jefferson trying to understand Alexander Hamilton's debt plan. All right.
Too many damn pages for a man to understand.
Yeah. A plan he doesn't get. Right. And then at that point, by the way, and because the Constitution does make it very clear, the Constitution is very, 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 very clear onto what a citizen actually is. An American citizen is somebody who is born either in the United States or in a territory or of American parents. That is a United States citizen. FYI, the Constitution makes that very, very clear. You might just want to check, I don't know, the 14th Amendment. You know, the one that's free and equal. That's important. Going to SCOTUS with this would be like the funniest fucking thing ever. But here are some questions that I've seen. Besides all of these, a question that somebody brought up to me last week when I mentioned this to them, because that person, when I mentioned this to them, they went like the face that I made, but make it better and more like what the fucky, said, so, and I put this on Twitter as well. So what if the pregnant person goes to jail? You just unlawfully imprisoned an innocent person. I'm sorry. First off, we already know that all cops are bad, but this is crossing the line. Because now you have, for every pregnant person who is in jail, you have an innocent, at least one innocent U.S. citizen with all constitutional rights. Unlawfully detained, which I believe is against the Constitution.
I'm pretty sure.
I
I know unlawful
believe
search and seizure is.
I believe it's in the Constitution. That person
Which
does.
amendment is that?
Which let's see here. You have the Fourth Amendment.
7.
The Fourth Amendment is against unlawful search and seizure.
Right.
Protects people,
Right.
and as well as against housing the military, for being forced to house the military.
No quarter.
No quota. Yeah.
I thought that was the.
Or no, it's a clause in the first. It's actually the Article 1, section. It's in the first clause. And so you have all of this, but they're saying that fetuses are people, are U.S. citizens.
Oh, a police detention is a seizure of a person. If it is unreasonable, it violates the seized person's Fourth Amendment's rights.
I like it when I know Constitution stuff.
Right.
Thank you. And that's why it's so fucked up. Is because you said we're being hyperbolic when we said that these are things they're going to do. As far as insurance, yep, they're covered. Now, how is that going to work? Now, mind you, in the state of Oregon, just as we have now, again, reasons you should move to Oregon, but also don't, because we already have enough people here. Come visit and then leave. Enjoy it here and then leave. She said that it would violate the Fourth Amendment, the constitutional rights protected by the Fourth Amendment. But in Oregon, built into our state's constitution, of course, codified in the state's constitution, says abortion is a right. It is built into the Constitution, period, up to birth. There is no week limit. So again, if anybody tries to say, oh, there's in every single state, no, there's not. We don't have that in Oregon. No matter when it is, you come here, no questions asked. Now, does that happen? Like it's 0.00 some odd 1% of the time. The vast majority of abortions happen like, I don't know, before 6 weeks. And as additionally, in Oregon, it is built into our state's constitution that anybody who provides medical insurance to anybody who lives in the state has to allow for abortions. Pretty awesome, right, Susan?
Yes.
It is built into the state's constitution. If the person living here has health insurance, the insurance provider must provide for abortions. It's built into the state's constitution. Again, it's amazing here. You're welcome to visit. Let me just go through this in my mind real quick. So let's do a Ben Shapiro, except reality. Let's say a person lives in Georgia. Okay. And Oregon has been on their mind. I know it seems like a reversal of fortune here. And they say, I want to go to Oregon because I need to have an abortion. And I'm just going to come here and do that. So they file on their taxes that they're pregnant. And for all they knew, they did not intend to abort the pregnancy. They actually wanted to have the child. Things happen. Unfortunate. Life-altering, traumatic things happen to where the mother's life is at stake. Places like Georgia don't allow for this. So you have already filed on your tax return, which again, by the way, is different than your federal tax return. But so I guess that everybody in Georgia is going to be fucking audited because your state tax return doesn't match with your federal tax return, whatever. And so you come to Oregon and you do the right thing. As painful as it may be, you do the right thing. You show love. That hurts. Like myself, to give examples with this, my we have, in our family we've got two corgis and a cat, right? Well, they're all above 10. So we understand the years that we have left with them are numbered. At some point, we are going to have to make the decision to bring mercy upon them, to do the right thing. And it's considered good because it is good. It ends suffering. It brings peace. It hurts because we love them. But it's the right thing to do. And so we do it. I live in a state where death with dignity is a right. If I am to the point where I no longer have a quality of life, I can go and die medically. And
On
I've
your own terms.
on my own terms. Assisted suicide, if you want to call it that. It's fine. Buffered again. I just buffered again. That's not the great time to buffer there, internet. And I have told Susan there's a few different things, and I actually need to go and get my um, DNR. Mm-hmm. Because if I die, I don't want to be brought back. But additionally, which we can say, which is legal. Additionally, in Oregon, it's legal for me, and I've already told Susan, if I come to the point in my life where if I have dementia or Alzheimer's, I don't want to live anymore. And guess what? Susan will ensure that I'm able to go out on my own terms. Because it's merciful and it's the right thing to do. It hurts, but it ends suffering.
And it's the most respectful thing you can do to honor somebody's wishes.
Yep.
Like, it sucks to think about. It sucks to, because I feel like and I think a lot of people feel this way, that our society has this taboo of talking about death and dying, that we're so scared of it, and we're so scared of mortality that we're like, we just don't want to deal with it. That's why with the ACA, the big deal they were making about the death panels, which that's not even what they were. The big deal that they were making about them was that basically it's like, they're deciding if you can live or die, so we're gonna prey on the fact that you're scared of dying.
Yeah.
And we're going to count on this this fear reaction on this from you, because we are so scared of dying and we're so scared of our own mortality. So sorry, tangent.
No, you're right. But what does Beetlejuice say? That's the thing about life, no one makes it out alive. Right? It's from the musical. Whether Michael Keaton actually said it, I don't know. And so a person from Georgia who has every intention of having and expanding their family, has to come to Oregon or to a different state, but Oregon because we don't have restrictions. We don't ask questions. To do the right thing, to do the merciful thing, to end suffering. Well, they've already filled out their tax form. What do they do? What do they do when they have to go back to Georgia and face this? Not facing it from the fact that, not facing it in the fact that the state might come after them because they committed fraud, but looking at a $3,000 tax payment sent to them. They had no intention, but it's something that they had to do. We think of all the hyperbolic things, which makes sense because you're like, how would this fucking work? But let's think about the amount of trauma that we're already causing people based upon Roe v. Wade being overturned. The amount of trauma we're already causing people because SCOTUS said that anybody can have a fucking gun basically whenever they want to. But now let's think about the amount of trauma that a person in the state of Georgia and a family in the state of Georgia who wanted to have a child or another child, but now has basically lied. And so they have death money. What do, what do they do? Give it back to the government, give it back to Georgia, right? And say, hey, I had an abortion at 30 weeks to save my life, to end suffering. What happens then? Well, right? What is it in Georgia, right? It's against the law. Is that person going to go to jail now because of all of that, because they had an abortion? They have to give the $3,000 back? Well, I already spent it. I wanted to try to be funny about this because it's just fucking insane. Like it literally is insane. And it's another mistake by Republicans. Here's the thing. Republicans have controlled narratives since at least Newt Gingrich, 1994, which is funny because that's the same year the Brady Bill, but whatever. And they finally come to the point where they're fucking it up. Herschel Walker is the Republican candidate for U.S. Senate in Georgia against ultra popular Raphael Warnock, who I will remind you, first black senator from Georgia, the Dr. Reverend Raphael Warnock. And you want to tell me that race is close? He might win by 15 points. The same thing in Arizona. I don't want to use something I don't intend to use something like what I mentioned in Georgia, what they're actually doing in Georgia, and to give an extreme example. But there are no more extreme examples. The extreme examples are reality. People every single day in this country attempt to either overthrow the government or make excuses for doing it. And by the way, I'm no fan of our government. We have done so much and continue to do so much wrong. But maybe we shouldn't attempt to violently overthrow the government as we attempt to reform it and do things better. But reality stands in the way of anything that we can say would be hyperbole. There is no bottom anymore. There's no lower anymore. They've already hollowed it out. That is where we are in reality. The problem with this, of course, in reality, is that we also have how many different justices three different justices. Now Gorsuch, maybe, right? The other two, fuck no, who shouldn't even be judges at that level at all, that are going to affect us over the course of the next few decades. And so that's something we have to contend with. But there is no hyperbole when you say, and this is something I was talking to Susan about. If I'm Katie Hobbs in Arizona and I'm going to be governor, guess what? I don't even need any speeches. Just let whatever her name Lake is talk. Just let her talk. Let people listen to her say that she wants to ban abortion, that she wants to decertify the election, that she says that Joe Biden isn't even president. Let her say those things and then just say, yep, that's her. That's what she wants. She wants to completely eliminate any mail in voting at all. She wants to make it so that you can only vote on one day, which means that there is no early voting. She wants to make it so that every single vote has to be counted by hand, which is fucking impossible. And I mean that by saying fucking impossible. Let her say all these things. Don't even have stump speeches. Just go, you know what? I'm just going to play a recording of her. Not even out of context. Here you go. Just you're saying it over and over again. You're welcome. Vote for me. Thanks a bunch. I'm going to win by 40 fucking points. That's it. What's Gabby Gifford's name again? The husband again? Mark Kelly. Do the same thing because Fincham is there. Whatever. Is Fincham there? The person that's running against him, right? Who has made a ton of headlines because he also denies the reality of the election and says he wants to decertify the election that happened 2 years ago, which is impossible. But there is no impossible anymore. Adidas was always right. Impossible is nothing. Because that's the reality. Those are the people that are trying to be in place trying to put them in across the country. And again, these folks, I am so happy that they're the ones that were chosen by either meddling from Democrats, thank you, and yes, it's amazing, and you should do it more often, or by actual MAGA voting. Because yes, I want that. I want those candidates. They're the best candidates. Republicans know that too. They're the best candidates that Democrats can ask for. Try to tell me that Arizona is ultra competitive. Try to tell me that Arizona is ultra competitive. And then you want to come in and put up a MAGA against Mark Kelly, who's fairly moderate. You want to put a MAGA against that. A person who says that ban abortion and I'm going to overturn the 2020 election. Congratulations, you get QAnon and you just lost everybody else. You know how many Republican women fucking hate Roe v. Wade being overturned? Give you an idea. Most. How many conservative women hate it? Again, I knocked on doors asking for, and when the man answers the door and I ask for a certain name, and he's like, "That's my wife, girlfriend, I don't know, lover, whatever. I don't care. She's Republican. I don't know, bro. She's voting for Beto. Sorry." They want to overthrow the government. They try to do it every day. It's beyond time to put plenty of them in jail for a very long time. But what it is time to do, and Joe Biden actually said this. Joe Biden said this in 2020. He was wrong with what he said. He said, "That's not America." Oh, well, yeah, Joe. I mean, that actually kind of is America. The divided thing, the racist shit, and all of that. That's pretty well America. That's kind of who we are. But he was wrong about that. But he was right about something else. And he's been right about a lot of things. He's also needs to do better. But he's been right about a lot of things. And one of them is that America can do better. America can do better than the former president. And he's right. And we did. Joke now, okay, I get it. Democrats, I know y'all are better and everything. Way to set the bar super fucking high. But there you go. You can tout the fact that you got a climate change bill, or the climate change, thing was passed. And you can tout the fact that you got the gun thing passed, and you got, Build Back Better, and that all these Republicans voted against voting rights and all of this other shit as if we were unaware they were going to. Y'all, they're calling Liz Cheney a rhino. Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney, the daughter of a vice president who was so powerful that he not only caused a couple of different illegal wars, including the one in Iraq, but who was so powerful that he shot a guy in the face or in the back of the head. Don't remember. Look, it's in the head. It was in the face. Accidentally, from what I understand, shot him while vice president, shot him while hunting. And the guy apologized to him. That guy. Dick Cheney. Oh yeah. She's the daughter of Dick Cheney. The guy that W went to when he was looking for oil, right? Calling her a rhino. She voted with the former president something like 90 some odd % of the time. But because she's like, you know what? Reality is a real thing. You would think so because the guy came from reality television. Then you kind of understand that it is fiction, so maybe not. And that's how the cult started. But she's going to get vote. She's going to win by double digit or lose by double digits. Liz Cheney is in Wyoming. You know that, right? She's going to lose by double digits. Like maybe 30 and 40 fucking points. It's so bad for her that she's reaching out to Democrats. And Democrats are like, yeah, thanks for doing the whole January 6th thing, but also fuck you for everything else. Yeah, she's not a good person. And as Maya said, if you looked at Liz Cheney's voting record, you'd see she was a cartoon villain. She is squarely Republican. Yes, climate change, voted in favor of it. Right? Like everything that you could possibly say, if you are a liberal, I'm against, or I'm in favor of, Liz Cheney is against it. Liz Cheney, you could say that this 1% tax increase on individuals making over $400,000 will give $90 million to every person who makes less than $60,000 a year. And she'd be like, nope, she'd vote against it. Which, by the way, the thing that they just passed is pretty close to that, by the way. Yeah, she also voted, like every single Republican voted against Oh, great. She voted against uh, was it a price gouge? Like she voted against a bill or a law that would have made it like illegal to do price gouging, and I forget what the exact wording was, but it was a price gouging bill, and she voted against it. Every Republican did, but she voted against it. She was like, "Nah, price gouging, oil companies totally okay. Thanks for the millions, from Exxon." By the way, did you know that like Exxon and Mobil and all those other like there's I think Chevron as well. I don't remember exactly, but they all come from Standard Oil. They're all the same fucking company. Did you know that?
All the oil comes from the same place.
No, they're all the same. Like 90% of them are all the same company.
Yeah, that's what basically.
Yeah, they're all
They're all
standard.
in the same place. Yeah.
Yeah, fucking what's his name? Who did Standard? The guy, the really steel magnate guy from the late 19th, early 20th century. They're all the same company.
Carnegie?
Yep. Yep. All the same company. But you know what? There's a reason that Republicans in Congress, for the most part, are not going and stumping for these individuals. There's a reason that nobody actually stands up for Marjorie Taylor Greene or Matt Gaetz or Lauren Boebert, and very few people stand up for what's his fuck face from Ohio, right? The Jim Jordan, right? He's like, I'm going to be the next Speaker of the House.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
Oh,
Hawley. Is he from Ohio?
no, Hawley's from Missouri.
Oh, Missouri.
Yeah. He says he's going to be the next Speaker of the House. Okay. Yeah, sure, bud. You're basically the Ted Cruz of the House. And there's a reason they don't stand up for them, and there's a reason that they actually sometimes speak out against them. You know who you haven't heard anything about over the course of the past, I don't know, since he lost his primary? Mm-hmm. Haven't heard anything.
Because they fucking.
Mm-hmm.
He stopped being extreme enough for them.
Yep.
So they
And
decided to take him down.
yep.
And try and shame him for
Yep.
being in lingerie. Why is that shameful?
Mm-hmm.
Regardless.
They won't stand up for them because they know they can't be there. This is another misstep for Republicans. This is another landmine for Republicans. They know that they cannot have these folks. That's why they're not. Nobody is stumping for Mehmet Oz. Like, you know that, right? They took basically everything from Pennsylvania. They know it's a lost cause. It's fucking over. They're not putting any money into Georgia. They know that. They know it's fucking over.
Oh, yeah.
Fetterman's up by double digits.
Fetterman is.
So is Warnock.
Fetterman is a lot like Beto in a lot of ways. In that.
Okay, go ahead.
In that.
Okay, go ahead.
He's not gonna wear kid gloves.
Mm-hmm.
He's not gonna wear kid gloves. Fetterman's got shit he's got to fucking deal with.
Yeah.
No bones about that. But he's telling it. He's being straightforward. He's just like, I fucking live here.
Yep.
Oz doesn't.
Yep, he's from Jersey.
Plain and simple.
Yeah, and he's having like Jersey like mob boss types that are actors make videos for Oz, like saying, "Hey, you come back to Jersey. Come on, we go to your house over here." That kind of thing.
Well, and Fetterman is basically is also trolling him in that Oz put out this like weird like smear campaign ad against Fetterman, and Fetterman basically chopped off the writing on it and is using the photo from it.
Is he really?
Yeah,
That's
let me see if I
awesome.
can find it.
Chris is about to join the Trash Pack 12 with my Trash Wildcat. Look, Chris, first off, good to see you. Love you. You know that. You know I love you.
He's using this was originally a Mehmet Oz.
That's awesome. That is great. That's like using the Dark Brandon thing.
Yeah.
Hey, Gary, good to see you as well.
Yay.
You guys always come in whenever I'm about done. We got like 5 minutes left. Jeez. 2 hours is too long to come in here and talk about the former president. You think I want to do that? I want to talk about Beto for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Once that notification's off. I have been great, Chris. I don't know if you still follow me on Twitter, but you should. I've been having a lot of fun recently on Twitter. I took like I didn't take a break, but I didn't, I muted. Drop something. I don't know. Something fell. But I've been, I decided to become more active again this week. It's been fun. About to join the No, the Pac-12 is like joining the Big Ten. All right, look. I don't know who's better at football, Nebraska or Arizona. Like Nebraska was the best 3-9 team in the history of college football. Okay, so you're welcome. Give it that. Also, fire Scott Frost. He sucks. He's a shitty person and a shitty coach. We're gonna lose like 9/10 of our audience right now. They're like, "Oh yes, love, yes."
Western Illinois beat Nebraska ball.
Yeah, they beat Nebraska in basketball. Congratulations. I don't understand. 99% of atheists do not watch sports. They don't care about sports. It's a turnoff for them. What you guys are doing right now is killing it, killing us. But I've been great, man. Portland is amazing. You definitely got to visit. Not knowing anything you're talking about. Yeah, I know. Everybody hates sports. I get it. Yada yada. Guess what I hate? Fucking anime. There you go. You're welcome, all of atheism, apparently. Yes, 99% of atheists. 99% of atheists hate sports. Seems high. Go talk to atheists about sports. Check the comment section. But Republicans know that they can't have these people in Congress. They know that. There've been some Blazers game, yeah. They know. Like up here, there was actually a Republican, yeah, love Susan Becker, Republican who voted to impeach the former president, rightfully so, because he did a crimes. And Herrera is her name, and she lost her primary. Guess what? Republicans hate that because Vancouver, which is on the other side of the river, on the side of the Columbia River, it's the other side of Portland, is basically the opposite of Portland. It's reliably red. And Herrera losing that primary is bad for Republicans because Republicans need people in Congress that they can control, that they can vote with. And that's been the thing with Republicans, where they have been very, very good at this against like 1994. One person says something, they're robotic about it. They walk in straight lines. They look like geese when they do it. When they step, when they step around. I think geese. I would think of like another waterfowl type, but I'm pretty certain that when they step, they look like geese. They do it like, in a line. I think should be a phrase we make up for that. And they are accustomed to that. Everybody just follows marching orders, boom, 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 of Mitch McConnell and of what's his name, Paul Ryan, right, and all of that stuff. You going to Lego Fair? Congratulations. I'm not jealous, and all of that stuff. And guess what? Getting the people that first off, the good news is in those competitive districts. Democrats, in my opinion, and this is what I see, Democrats are going to fucking destroy MAGA. In anything that's considered competitive. I didn't say this in January. In fact, I said the opposite in January. But now I can see this because it has been, again, it's like Republicans looked around and said, what would the Democrats do? And they did that, plus all of it. They had everything in, literally everything in their back pocket. They didn't even need aces, right? Or bases or anything like that. They didn't need to pull anything out. Republicans, the Democrats were doing it for them. They were just like, here you go. Here's all the kings. All of them. Right? Yeah. And then that's what they did. I love hearing you sing. You don't get copyright now or just get taken down.
Look at this corgi.
Corgi with a tail. Looks like Benny. And FBI raid. And that's going to happen. That Democrats are going to win those competitive races. Competitive. Let me tell you how that's going to go. Because we already got the referendum. We got the referendum in Kansas. We got it. We already know that MAGA is going to vote for election denying insurrectionist fucks. We already know that. That's just the way that they go, the way they do things. They don't care about reality and they want a fucking despot for president. Or they just want to pres a despot, right? That's what they want. They want to have a king, an autocrat, a ruler, a person who, these fundamentalists who will, even though he's not a Christian, who will help to implement their theocratic rule, which, by the way, I guess they don't know the Constitution very well. Interesting that they're like the party of the Constitution. Lost my, I hit the microphone and lost the feed for a second. But
did you
no, I got it back. I'm pretty certain I got it back. And the party of the Constitution, it's almost like all right, see you later, Gary, it's good to see you. But it's almost like they're a company based out of Utah that makes a lot of MAGA gear and then has it made in America, right? Yay, made in America. Except then they get caught by like the fucking FEC or something. I don't know, some government acronym, pick one. And they got caught and they said, all of this is being made in China and you're ripping out the tags and you're inserting new ones that say made in America. And that's a lie. And you can't do that. So fucking stop it, pay a fine, and go and you have to tell everybody who ever bought anything from you that you lied to them and that all your shit is made in China. Which, by the way, cool. I don't care that it's made in China. I really don't. I have some issues with what China does, especially to like the Uyghurs and stuff like that, and also their own citizens. But let's go ahead and just talk about what America does as well. I'm not doing a whataboutism, but you don't get to say that China not great when it comes to treating employees, and workers and stuff, and ignore ours. Again, Hillary was bad. She did bad things with emails. Current guy, bad things with him in general. So, but it's like, it's kind of like that. The party of the Constitution or the party of family values and all of that stuff. They can't have these folk. Did you see CPAC in Dallas last week? Probably didn't, because nobody else did, because they weren't there. The only thing you saw was that guy who was convicted of being at the Capitol on January 6th, but then rolled over and gave information about everybody else sitting in a fucking weird, doing some sort of cosplay inside of a made-up jail cell, saying, where is everybody at? Where'd they all go? Oh my gosh, we're such victims here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, please come in here and act like I'm Jesus, right? That's the only thing. Oh yeah, and Orban from Hungary was there. You know, the actual fascist in Hungary. It is Hungary, right? Orban is from Hungary, I believe.
No idea.
Yeah, Fox News loves the guy. MAGA loves the. Imagine that MAGA loves 45. Of course they love Orban. They're the same person. They both want to consolidate power and be autocrats, be fascists. Do I think that 45 is a fascist? No, I don't. He doesn't understand how to be one.
I don't think he even knows what the word means.
Most Republicans and conservatives don't.
That's true. They also don't know what socialism and communism mean.
No, they have no idea. And
which I know is a sticking point.
yeah, especially when I tell people on a sock dem and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're a Democrat." That's not what that fucking means. But now his movement is fascistic for sure, and yes, he would set up a fascist type of government, but he doesn't know that he's a fascist. No, he doesn't. He just knows that he's a power hungry fucking narcissist. Um, and Republicans, so not your fundamentalists. That's the thing. It seems like everybody that's a conservative or a Republican is a fundamentalist because that's all we ever see. And that's kind of the point. Because you know what you don't ever see now? Democrats. It's better to be out of the news and do things in the background and get things done than to constantly have some shit coming up in the news. Because that means you have no controversy. That means you can tote your own record, and that means you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have issue after issue after issue. Again, you don't even need to say your own stump speeches. You don't even need to give your own policies. All you need to do is play clips of this person being a fucking fascist and wanting to take away your fucking rights, and also being a racist and being likely a xenophobe and definitely anti-Semitic and Islamophobic and transphobic. All of those things. Congratulations. If you are against any of those things, then there you go. Don't vote for that person. I'm your person. You might not like all of my policies, okay, but I'm not going to allow the entire fucking electric grid of Texas to go to fucking shit just because it's hot. Okay? Beto thing. You better. No, I fucked it up. You better vote.
I love you.
Love you. That's enough, right? 2 hours and 8 minutes.
That's a nice stream.
What else did I want to talk about?
I don't know.
I talked about enough.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh yeah, and there's other things too. There's other things too.
I go to bed.
Tuesday I go to bed. I think I do too. I don't remember.
Yes, you do.
Thanks for coming.
That's what she said.
Inside temp at 80 degrees during the day. Woof, yeah.
Maya, I'm not sleeping. Stream forever. No.
And again, all you folks, come to Portland. Come visit. See how amazing it is. And then leave. We can't have you living here. Don't need more people here. You're gonna mess up the view. We gained a constitutional or congressional district. FYI.
Yes, you did.
We got to go help out with. That's the thing this weekend. McLeod Skinner, Jamie
Cloud Skinner.
McLeod Skinner. Gotta go help out. Make sure she wins over in Clackamas. Go knock on doors in Clackamas County.
The Dima Fletcher thingy office opening party this weekend.
Yep. So I have to go to that. Got to go to training for canvassing.
Yes, we do. I think we know how.
I have to go to training. To training for canvassing.
And I'm pretty sure.
I'm gonna teach the class.
Pretty sure we are aware.
I was talking to the girl on the phone, and this is like her first thing, and I was like, "Yeah, here's the deal. I helped to flip Tarrant County in Texas, so I'm determined I'm gonna die and take it with her." Oh God. Well, Braywin, I hope I hope that works out, and I hope that it's healthy again and doesn't have more. So, but I think that's it, right? Should stream more often.
I should stream.
Should should.
I need a camera. It's not this one.
I love to hear that.
Hear what?
Nothing.
What?
Then you said you were going to stream. You want to stream, so I think that sounds amazing. Yeah, but I have more stuff I'm going to talk about. There's stuff with like theocracies and how Hispanics aren't actually going further to the right with the pro-life thing. Read that today, so
Yeah.
what to do about that? Canvassing is fun. Nothing to be scared of either. You just walk up and use a pen. Use a pen. When you come up to like the doors, you know, they have like the metal doors on the outside of it. You take the pen and you on that metal part, it's the loudest fucking thing. People down the block know that you're coming to their house next because they can hear it. Oh yeah, it's a good time. Open the door. Hey, make sure you vote for Jamie and also for Beto if you live in Texas. Please. I'm gonna go now.
I'm going to bed.
I like your necklace.
I do too.
Oh yeah, that's a good point, Maya. I see my own privilege. I can't see past it sometimes.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go take off my pants.
I'm gonna go and look at that. Love you guys. I really do. Thanks for being here. It matters. And so do you.